Hey, we're good. Question answered.
My question is like a hidden agenda. How we figure it out that I have this kind of hidden agenda? Because a lot of things are in our mind, in our brain, and a specific one, how we pick that.
Yeah. So the question is how do we figure out the hidden agenda, and how do we do that? So one of the things at Nam we talk a lot about is connecting to self. The less noisy your brain is, the more easily answers will come to you. So a lot of times I'm meditating, and in the middle of it I have an awareness that, oh, hey, this is a problem. So number one, addressing a hidden agenda, you need to have some practice to calm the mind. The deeper that practice, the more the hidden agenda has to come and become unhidden. So that's number one. You need a practice to calm the mind. This is why we say don't drink or drug, because it disturbs the mind. And when your mind is disturbed, your hidden agenda becomes unrestrained and it comes out. So people, I have no comment on, should, are you pro abstinence, or are you pro? I don't care for any of that. I'm just here to kind of answer questions on how do we become aware of our hidden agenda. Any substance you take that keeps you from fully feeling in the moment will make you less aware of what that is. And in that moment, what you'll do is you'll blame someone else. Anytime, you can write this down, take this. Anytime you feel triggered, you feel upset, we always teach feel it in your body. So we ask you weird questions like, where do you feel that feeling in your body? Is it in your back? Is it in your belly? Is it in your chest? Why do we ask that? It's because the hidden agenda always comes up in the body first. It usually comes up like, oh, my back hurts and I don't know why. I didn't do anything. Oh, my neck is stiff, but I haven't really done anything. Or, oh, my belly is, I feel like I feel nausea. No reason for that. Becoming aware of body sensations is your first clue, because especially early on, our body is encoded with emotions. We all have our unique pattern. When I get upset, my face flushes, and then my heart starts going. So I may not know why. I usually never find out why until a couple of days later. That's how I know there's a hidden agenda, is that it comes with a trigger. So you feel upset, you don't blame the other person, you look at yourself. That's my first reaction, and then I take it one step further. I'm obviously a prayer guy, I very quickly, I just, in that moment, I'm, God, this hidden agenda, please, Waheguru, heal this and heal the root of this. I do it right in the moment. Because I've built up my attention, I've built up my practice, I can do that, and in the moment it gets healed. This is why in the principles we say, triggers are your best friend. When you get triggered, that's a signpost as to where more healing is needed. And it tells you what to do. It's very simple. You have a healing practice, just do that. And add into it wherever the roots of that is, because chances are you don't know. You won't remember where the roots of that are. But if you're just setting the intention that should be healed, asking your higher self, your soul, your higher power, your God, your whatever, to heal the roots of that, then you have a way to conduit that healing. And so then you do that in your daily practice, then you're one more step ahead. You've healed some roots. So this is why on a daily, you keep track of all of these triggers that you get. You get upset. Then you take it, and at the end of your day or at the start of your day, you set the intention in your meditation. Universe, heal this and heal the roots of this. And now you are ahead. For example, a Sikh can do ardas with this, practically. Anytime you're triggered, upset, automatic, Dr. Gill says, don't think anyone else did anything to you. They just triggered, just a spark. Life is full of sparks. Life is full of triggers. Stop blaming people that trigger you. You're getting triggered, you're catching on fire, your life is becoming a mess. So do something about that. So it's a great question. So how do you become aware? And over time, less and less hidden agendas will come. Less and less intrusion into your day will come. So hidden agendas can be easily managed with a daily practice, a little bit at a time. Let's say you watched a lot of abuse as a child, of mom and dad, lots of fighting. You don't need that to heal all at once. If you do a daily practice, you get triggered, you sort of try to heal the roots of that, and just set that as your intention, then you'll become a little less triggered, a little less bothered. And over time, your agenda and your hidden agenda will become one agenda. And guess what? When that happens, people will believe every word you say. Every word. And why not you? That can absolutely be you. I see no reason why not. I'm an optimist. So thank you for that question. Good question. Answered? Yes? Good. So we'll go to you, sir.
So this relates to your lecture just from last Wednesday, where you used the word your authentic self in regards to coaching. And so now I'm understanding that your authentic self is your hidden agenda. And it just strikes me that it's more difficult to do coaching with people that you're close to because you've built up a history with them. And so to be your authentic self and to know your hidden agenda takes an awful lot of work. So I'll I don't exactly have a question, but I will relate that to an experience I'm currently involved with. And it was very important for my spouse to sign some paperwork that she refused to sign, and that really triggered me. And it took a couple of days. Tried to get her to sign the paperwork again, but I didn't even, the second time around, I didn't even bring the paperwork out. She just said, no, I'm not signing any paperwork. And at that point, after a couple of days of looking at it, I realized that my hidden agenda was absolutely about control, and I wanted to control. But when I stepped back and realized it doesn't make a whole lot of difference whether she signs or not. There's a process to go through. It's just going to take a little bit longer to go through the process. So I kind of brought all that together, and I don't really have a question, but just my own experience. My hidden agenda was right there in front of me.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'll make a comment on this. That's very valuable. So why do we say in the daily practice, connect to others? I'm just going to slide over here so that we can kind of see the board. Why do we say connect to others, and who do you start with? The best people to start with, if you're developing a new way to communicate, the best people, who to start? Let's say you're the family of someone with addiction, mental health problem or you are the person with addiction, we've established your old way of communication just creates problems, oftentimes. So who do you communicate with? Who do you practice with? Because if I'm an athlete, like a 100-meter sprinter, and I go and I run in an Olympic race, they'll be done the race before I'm done a quarter of it. It's like, I'll be, and then everyone else will be done, and I just feel bad. It's very difficult. So, the closer people are with you, so you, let's say it's a husband, let's say that it's like a husband, wife. And there's like a whole 30-year, 20-year history. This could be son, this could be mother, daughter, right? Whatever. Life is full of, there's all sorts of, but let's say there is a whole history of hidden agenda. Okay? That's in between the two of you. And as soon as you interact, it blows up. It triggers, it does this, it does that. So where do you start? You have to start somewhere out of that. Why? Because when you start with someone else, let's say outsider, we'll call them an outsider. When you start with an outsider, well, you might have a hidden agenda there, but it's not like this big mess that's like really enmeshed and kind of really difficult. With an outsider, you don't know this person. You don't know this person. So it's easier. There's less messy stuff. So then you practice. You practice with this person. Sometimes this outsider, you practice. You practice healthy communication. And yes, your control agenda will come up, your hidden agenda will come up, but it won't be as powerful. And because that person doesn't know you either, theirs won't be as difficult either. And if this person is a person in recovery, for a therapist, or a priest, or someone, they may even have some tools and awarenesses that can help you. Because good relationships are both-sided. And so how do we start with a very messy thing? And the mistake is you keep trying, and the more you try to navigate the hidden agendas and all that, the more it blows up and the more thick the barrier gets. So if you have a deep husband-wife problem, both sides have to go outside. Both sides have to go outside if it's severe enough. I'm not talking mild, I'm talking severe. And most people who have addiction, severe mental illness, the things in their family run on the severe end. And so healing outside, you go to a grocery store and you say, would anyone like to talk about the deepest feelings and and I drink alcohol and all these things. Would anyone like to be my friend? In the grocery store, people will be like, who are you? You're crazy. They may even have the same problem you do, but they're too ashamed to admit it there. And so then, what do? It's really hard. Because where do you meet people when you want to talk about deep things? It's usually childhood friends, or people in recovery. That's why you go to an AA meeting, if you're an alcoholic, and all of a sudden they don't know you, but they're interested in talking about the deep stuff. Or you come to Nam, and then other people are at Nam, and they're in the same group, Maybe the details are different, but similar, so it's safety. It creates safety. There's safety in anonymity. And that means less of a hidden agenda. And so then you practice, and you practice, and you practice until you get good, and then maybe at least your side of the agenda may get a little bit less. Just a little. And so maybe you can try. And maybe if they, at Nam, we're big on treating families, maybe they have been doing a bit of their work. Maybe you can start. And that's how it goes. That's why it takes years. Because this stuff built up over 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however old you are, that's how long it's been building up. Spousal problems rarely have a loan. Oh yeah, it's just about the relationship. No, it's not. All your childhood stuff, all their childhood stuff, is all mixed up in it all. And so, decoding that, you can spend 20 years trying to code that straight with the other person, and nothing will happen. It'll just get worse. Or you can go outside with anonymity to a person in recovery, or a coach, or a therapist, or a doctor, or someone, and get some coaching, get some tips, practice. And what you're doing is you're learning to identify your hidden agenda, find strategies, tools to calm it. Another word for a hidden agenda is amygdala. The amygdala fires when the hidden agenda is activated, and you have an opportunity to deal with it. And if you do, you will have that much better communication. Your real agenda and your hidden agenda will be that much closer, and you will become truly authentic. And then people will believe what you say. Then you'll be able to navigate even the messiest conflict can be navigated. When there's bilateral willingness, it often doesn't take that long necessarily. When there's true bilateral willingness to look at the hidden agenda on both sides. Usually only one side's willing to look at it for a while. A couple of years later, the other side becomes willing to look at it. I've seen miracles happen, faster or slowly. So it's a great comment, and I'm glad that you were able to identify that. And I think that comes on the back of a lot of work, practicing with other people. So in daily practice, we say connect to self, connect to others, because you will not, if you just meditate like a yogi every day, there's lots of arrogant yogis out there. There's lots of arrogant priests out there. There's lots of arrogant people out there that have strong daily practices, it seems. But they have a hidden agenda, they haven't identified it, so then it creates that arrogance. That's why you want to connect to other people. Connecting to other people will give you an opportunity to be triggered, to learn, to manage, to have that information. Then you can go do ardas or some kind of processing thing that you do and be one step ahead. That's how you tackle hidden agendas in complex familial and sort of family-friend relationships. So you didn't ask a question, but it was a very excellent comment. So thank you for that. I'll take, let me see what the time is. I have time for a limited extra question. So Anji.
I like you already answered me. Like I talked with myself 2-3 times. That time I didn't know the name of hidden agenda. I talk about myself like what I need, what I want to know, what like I talking myself, what's going and what I need. From these examples, what I find out, first thing is respect. I never believe like hidden agenda for sex in after marriage or like when I'm in college life, that time my hidden agenda was sex.
Mm-hmm.
When my girlfriend, I go with taking my girlfriend to movie. So that time my hidden agenda, like sex.
Mm-hmm.
So after marriage, like well, for first 5-6 months, same sex. After that, no. Going for a movie, I'm taking all the time my family, my mother, my children, all the time I take my family because it's so frustrated at home. So I want to know something fresh to see the movies. So no hidden agenda to see the movies, and no hidden agenda.
And I'm just going to pause you. This is a really good example. Anytime you find yourself saying no hidden agenda,
I have 3.
there's a hidden agenda.
Yeah, I have 3 hidden agendas. Yeah, 3.
Good.
One is respect, second is share and communication. एक ਆਪਾਂ किसी मोटे से मोटा जोड़ के तोड़ना. तीसरा, I did one mistake when I depressed that hit my credit so bad. So I want to somehow make better my life
Yeah.
without my credit. These are my 3 respect, communication,
So-
and मोटे से मोटा जिहड़ा हुंदा वो इंग्लिश
So, this is good. Because you're able to talk about it, these would be your conscious agenda. Hidden agenda
Well, I talked with myself that time, so that I
Is-
figure out.
underneath, and sometimes you can figure it out. I suspect in your case there may be more. There's always more than you think.
Yeah, maybe.
It takes the time, but if you ever get to that point, it's like, I don't have a hidden agenda. Right there, that's like as good as like, when my heart starts going, I know my hidden agenda's coming out. What's your hidden agenda? I don't have one. Right there. There's something there that you can then use to target what you do to process it. So processing hidden agendas, we talked briefly about, subject of another lecture. But I think that it's great that you are identifying and thinking, because unless we're thinking, then we're acting automatic. Then we just think. It's always someone else's fault. But if we think and we ask the question, you can always ask yourself this question: what's my hidden agenda? Maybe answer comes, maybe answer doesn't. But if you ask yourself that question 12 times a day, in every interaction, in every communication, maybe once you'll get an answer, and then you can process it. The whole purpose is to get ahead every day in life, to become better, to become deeper, to become effective in your communication, manage your projection, live a low stress, happy, wonderful, beautiful, divine life. That's the whole purpose. And every day we want to make a step. It's not about just doing prayers and practice just because someone, Dr. Gill, tells you it's a good idea. This is why, and this is how. The root of happiness rests in your ability to communicate from a deep place of caring, to find the highest good of all. That's happiness, that's contentment. There's no reason that can't be. So it's a good comment. Thank you, Ji.
And I find one thing more, the hidden agenda never end. Life to life, it will be changing all the time. What I figure out?
That is closer to the truth, in that a hidden agenda,
It's never end, it's changing.
what generally people find is that it changes in its intensity and its ability to control you. Does it fully go away? I don't know. I haven't lived that long yet. But it doesn't have to control you. And if you're aware of it, it won't control you. Because you have tools. You have tools to bring yourself into consciousness, to turn off the amygdala and get your frontal cortex online. So that's kind of how it all fits together. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you coming. If I misspeak, today was a good day. We didn't talk so much about coaching, but rather about what is the biggest obstacle to implementing coaching, which is hidden agenda. And so it's a good thing to talk about. So I'm going to stop the recording there.